What is going on, guys? Welcome to our Finance Tuesdays. I hope you're doing really well and having a great week. We're going to be talking about the top three things you can do in order to achieve financial freedom. Now, the first thing I want to say is you got to believe. If you are thinking that you're broke, that you'll never achieve that final step in getting financially free from the 9 to 5, where you don't have to rely on a 2 week paycheck, then it's never going to happen. You have to shift your mindset. In the book of Proverbs, it talks about as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think broke, you're going to stay broke. If you start thinking that you're wealthy, well, guess what? You're going to have those habits of being wealthy, of making good decisions with your money. But if you continue to stay in the pit where you're like, you know what? I'm never going to get out of this. It's never going to end. It's a vicious cycle for me. I'm going to stay in debt. Then it will never happen. Or if you're in a position where you're debt free and you don't see anything else above what you're making, you're never going to see it come to fruition. The second tip to achieving financial freedom is streams of income. Now, you hear a lot about you need to have 6 or 7 streams of income. It's good advice, but when you're first starting out, you have a 9 to 5 and you've got this passion where you want to build another source of income. My advice is make sure you don't quit your 9 to 5, get better at it. So let's just say you have a sales job. Let's just say you sell life insurance. Well, continue to sell consistently. Why? Because if you're selling, you're making income. And as you're building that skill, make sure you stay there and master it really well. You can build another skill outside your 9 to 5. Why would you only want to focus on 2 things? Because if you stretch yourself thin, where you have 3 or 4 things going on, where you're trying to build income, you're not mastering anything. You're just a jack of all trades. You're not a master of anything. So what you want to do is focus on your 9 to 5. After you're done with that part of your day, get started with your business. You can be in podcasting. You can write a book and publish it. You can do drop shipping. You can start a YouTube page. The key is get started and be consistent with it. And don't stretch yourself thin. What do I mean by that? Well, I have a YouTube page and I have a couple of subscriptions. I use a vidIQ to keep up the analytics of the page. I have Elements Envato, which helps me with my video editing. And I don't have a camera yet. And I just bought a MacBook a couple of months ago. That's a tax write off for me. And here's the thing, I haven't made any money on this page yet, but I have over 1,000 subscribers, which is cool. But at the same time, I'm still building and I'm not trying to overwhelm myself by buying all these products. I'm not trying to buy a camera right now because by January or February next year, I'll be paying off my Sallie Mae and my wife's car loan. So it's important that I stay focused on that and not try to purchase things that I don't need right now. Do I plan on buying those kind of equipment in the future? I do. However, I need to take my time and building the skills. So if you're in a predicament where you've got debt, take care of your debt. If you have a 9 to 5, continue to get better at it. Spend 5 to 10 years in your industry. I've been in Medicare for now 4 years. I'm going to stay here for a long time. Why? Because it's substantial income. When I get to October 15th through December 7th, that's why I make my biggest commission checks. And if I'm selling consistently, which I am, then I'll make steady commission checks on a monthly basis. That's another thing. When you have another source of income that you're building, do not quit your 9 to 5. Get consistent at that thing. So if you're making $500 on a monthly basis, continue to be consistent at making $500. If it's 1,000, 2,000, get very consistent. Because when you take that leap of faith and you become a full-time entrepreneur, you have the confidence to make income without relying on your 2 week paycheck. That's the key. But again, don't stretch yourself thin. Don't have 3 or 4 side hustles. Just have one other thing you can focus on and get really good at it, just like you're doing with your job. And when you're building these skills out, you become a master of it. Think of it like actors, they just focus on acting, or sports players, they just focus on basketball, football, hockey, baseball. Like they just focus on that one skill and they spend all their time becoming a master of it. Instead of stretching yourself out and not having enough time to master anything, just focus on 2 things at a time. And if you do that and you get really good 5, 10 years later, well, guess what? You're now a master of it. You can give your advice and you get paid for that. So just something to think about. The third tip to achieving financial freedom is get debt free and value your working years right now. So if you're in your 30s, get serious about getting out of debt. If you're in your 40s and you're waiting to save for retirement, stop. Get very, very serious about that. Have a sense of urgency early in your career years. Look at every day as a valuable day for you where you need to get better. Don't waste these years. Don't waste another 10 years where you're making bad financial decisions, where you're spending money on credit card debt. You're getting car loans. You don't need to be getting another car. You get a house you can't afford. Don't make those mistakes. I'm on the phone with people who are Medicare. They are completely broke. They have no other options but to rely on the government to take care of them. It is our responsibility to make sure we're in a good financial place 20 or 30 years from now. But it has to start today, because if you don't have the sense of urgency to build skills, to save your money, to be patient, and to invest at the right time, then you're going to be stuck. And you'll never have financial freedom unless you understand I need to value what I have right now and be patient with the process. Everybody gets to financial freedom at a different stage of life. Do not compare your life to someone else's life, because if you become impatient, if you're an impulsive buyer, you'll never get out of the rat race. So it's very important that you understand what I do today matters. What I do in my time matters. Think about how fast 30 years flew by for you. Think about how fast 40 years flew by for you. It went by pretty quickly, right? So have a sense of urgency. Have a desire where, like, listen, I can't waste these next years. They are very critical in my working years, because you got to value your health. You don't know if that could start getting out of control. You could have situations come up with your family where you have to take care of the financial burden. So make sure that you start taking every check serious right now. Save your money. Learn to save 20 to 40% of your income down the road. Because if you can do that, well, guess what? If you have more capital stored up, you can go out and start investing. But you got to be patient. You can't be impulsive. Build the right skills. But if you don't value what you have right now, by the time you're 65, you got Medicare health insurance, and that's the only thing you can rely on. It's very, very sad, and it doesn't give you a lot of options. So I don't recommend that. Make sure you guys have a sense of urgency. So those are my 3 financial tips for today. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.